Today's clip is on the Hunter 350 by Royal Enfield. At the end of this clip there's going to be two playlists. One's going to be on the Hunter and the other one's going to be the Classic 350. And if you want to, you can always cross-reference those and then decide for yourself which is the bike for you. So back to this part of the review on this one. Like I said, it's only a mini one, and at the end there'll be the playlist there where you can go into it and make up your own mind. Overall, after owning the Hunter 350 and the Classic 350, I think that the Hunter is more geared towards the younger rider. So in other words, if you're over 70, I don't know, unless you're strong in the back. Other areas like that, I don't know in the handlebar position, I don't know whether this bike would be for you or not. You know, you might be in really good condition, it doesn't worry at all. It's just hard to say. But I did find that a bit of a challenge when I was riding it myself. I found that the riding position was sort of leaned over, a little bit sporty, and reminded me of when I had the Duke 390, and I didn't go much on that one. But taking into account when I bought this bike, I bought it sight unseen, pre-ordered it, just went down and picked it up and brought it home and started riding it. So that's something for you to look in that line. But if you ask, if you're in, I don't know, around that 30 mark or under, you might say to yourself, well, yeah, I'd like something that's a little bit on the sporty to ride. Well, if that's the case, you won't be disappointed, because out of the 350 in the singles at the moment, Classic, Media, the Hunter now, if you compare those ones together, the Hunter is by far the most lively and has easily got the best tune in that bike out of the three available. And I've never ridden a Media, but when I had the Hunter against me 350 Classic, it was far superior in the acceleration, really peppy to ride, and more importantly, with the smaller wheels and all that, it's a very agile bike, so you can move it around and swing it around. It's just like, to be honest, it's just like riding a scooter, the way it handles. Like, it is really impressive how it handles, how it accelerates, but it's not too impressive when it comes to the rear suspension, which I found really a joke. It was fairly bad, and I think if you were serious and you wanted to hold your back in place, apart from a brace, you might have to upgrade the rear shocks. And the other thing is I found a bit of vibration through the bars and that. Now, exhaust-wise, it's got a bad exhaust note to it, but then again, the Classic 350's got a pretty good note on it too. So that's another way to look at it there. I did find out, looking out the mirrors, I had a bit of trouble seeing out of them, a bit of vibration running through it. But later on, I actually put my touring mirrors on it, and that solved it out. But if you said the main thing is, which would be the most exciting of the 350s to ride? Well, by far the Hunter 350 is like that, and the only one I can compare it to in another brand, which I've got here, is riding a Hunter 350 gives you the same feeling of being a bit of a clown and sort of a boy racer compared to when you're riding a Honda Grom. Even though there's a few horsepower separating them, nobody ever rules out the fact that the Honda Grom was possibly one of the most fun bikes around for 125cc's and not much money. So, if you look at it that way, the Classics and the other, they all sit in and around the same money anyway, so it's just personal preference. So like I said, this is just like a mini review. If you go to the playlist now, you'll be able to see about 70 clips on the Classic 350. I think there's about 12 or 14 on this Hunter, and then you'll get an idea of what I think about the bike. And I will say one thing about before I close this off. The Hunter 350 is a well-finished bike, so Enfield now is getting their game together really well, and they're putting together pretty good bikes, like as far as build quality compared to the old days of the 500s.